Hello.
Hello. Man, I ran over here from the kitchen to my office thinking I was late again. I guess I didn't quite need a run.
Yeah, Greg was kind of distracted and he will join us
Cool.
soon.
How are you doing? Haven't seen you since Mesoscon. NA last year, the old one.
We'll talk about the old/new one.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. This is Greg.
Hi, Greg.
Hope you feel better.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting better. So, let's get started. Thanks for joining, everybody. Open up the agenda doc here. We do have just a couple items on the agenda. Maybe we can start by going over action items from last time. And I would love to hear about the hackathon as well from Andy.
Greg?
Yeah, what's up?
I'd like to throw something on the agenda, which is briefly talking about Mesoscon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will add that. Sounds good. Okay. All right, so let's review the action items from last time. I had a couple that I did not get to, which I'll roll over. One of them was emailing folks to solicit blog posts, and I wanted to meet with Ben M as well to brainstorm some blog ideas for the near term. Is there anybody on the line right now who would be interested in participating in that meeting? I could add you to the invite as well. Okay, all good. And another one that I missed was asking ASF Infra about spammers on IRC. And I think Gilbert did not get to moving the working group information on the website. So I'll roll that one over. I can ping him about that. Okay. And I did just check in with Benjamin about the storage working group before this meeting, and he's planning on sending out an email for that, I believe. So that's all the action items from last time. So we can take a look at or maybe first we could, Andy, would you mind just sharing your experience from the hackathon that you went to?
Yeah, I'd love to. So actually, we're in luck. I just wrote up a trip report email, so I have all this fresh in my head. So this was called Hack Illinois. It was at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, which is a fairly large computer science school. And it wasn't just UI students. They actually bused in students from Georgia, Michigan, and Florida, among other schools. So the really neat thing is that they are open source focused, and they seeked out like sponsors to help students. They call them mentors to help students actually work in open source. Now, I wasn't sure if I'd have interest in Mesos. It's kind of a hard project to get into, just as we all know, right? Like we have a high learning curve, a steep learning curve in Mesos, but I was proven wrong. It was great. I actually started the first night with, I think 6 or 7 students who sort of just formed this team around me to work on Mesos. I'm like, this is awesome. Let me see what all I can do for them. The best part actually was the next morning, I only lost half the students, which I think is actually a pretty good retention rate for a hackathon where there's a million things to work on. So we have 3 new contributors. Their names were Anurag Bahani, Shubham Kumar, and Sachin Parani. They were amazing. We actually, in that weekend, we got 4 issues closed and I think 6 patches posted and shepherded in. And the coolest part to me was just exactly the work that they did for me. They did it for us, but what we got was the Mesos master ported over to Windows, as well as Mesos execute, the CLI. So like prior to this, if I wanted to test Mesos end to end, I'd have to go spin up half the stuff on a Linux machine, the master and a framework or the CLI or something, and just connect the Windows agent to it, because that's all we had building over on Windows. And that was kind of annoying if you just want to do a quick test if does this task work. And so we actually got it all working on Windows. You can run the full stack on Windows. We don't have level DB, so there still isn't persistence. You still can't quite run Mesos master on Windows in like a high availability mode or anything, or in production at all. But the binaries are there, they're usable. I'm actually using this stuff every day, which in and of itself is really cool that this kind of work came out of a hackathon. And on top of that, they won top 3. So it's a shared award. Oh, wow. They didn't get number 3. That was just a shared top 3 award for the whole Hack Illinois hackathon. Yeah, it overall went really incredibly well, I thought.
That's really cool.
It was awesome. I'm hoping to get to do more of it.
Yeah, that's great.
That sounds really cool. Should we send maybe some T-shirts, stickers or so? I could reach out to Judith to send them like a thank you for contributing package.
That would be awesome, actually. They did get stickers. Judith had, oh, I'm spacing on her name, Elizabeth, send me stickers, and I got those passed out. So they got Mesos stickers, but shirts for them would be cool if that's doable. I could track them down.
Can you send me their email addresses?
Yeah, totally.
Cool, thanks.
So yeah, that was exciting, awesome stuff. Yeah, we should do more stuff like that.
So, what did you guys have to do to get the master working on Windows?
Same as any other port, turn it on in the actual build and then start fixing the lines of code that were broken. Stuff like get GID. Well, that doesn't exist on Windows, and it was only being used in an error message. So I just sort of stepped them through, like, what do you do when this feature doesn't work? Do you actually need it on Windows? Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes you were just making a warning message more verbose. Other times you might have to work around some code. I think we had to turn some other pieces off due to OS shell not being there yet. But yeah, just the fun porting stuff.
Nice. Oh, that's really cool, man.
So there's Google Summer of Code. I think they're still open, right? And I don't know, I think we were not so successful attracting people like 2 years ago. I don't know when NPark ran it last time, right? So I'm kind of curious if that would be interesting for you, Andrew, to like push yourself into that, if it's still open. I mean, I think it's still open.
I could take a look at it. That would be interesting. Like I said, I thought I'd get maybe 1 or 2 people. I actually put down a secondary sponsoring project, PowerShell, in case I had no interest at all. But I think what helped was the way they structured this hackathon was that before hacking started, they had panels that all the mentors are on. Well, at least some of them were on. And I was on a really cool systems panel, so I actually got to like first speak and connect with 60 or so students ahead of time, and then they let everyone that was on the panel kind of just do a pitch for their project. I'm like, hey, Mesos is pretty cool, come work on it. There was more to it, but that I think probably helped because I didn't quite have to solicit them. I got the opportunity to advertise Mesos, and they just formed a team around me. It was actually really neat. So maybe I'll look into Summer of Code.
Yeah, have you received any of the emails from ASF about Summer of Code, Andy?
Yes, I had kind of been ignoring them, but I could read those.
Yeah, it's all good. I think we need to create tickets in Jira. They have some system set up for proposed projects, I believe.
So there seems to be a mentor sign up, right? I don't know how the timeline is, but I think if you need both. You need a mentor and then you need some ideas in Jira, but
okay.
I don't know. I don't even know if it needs to be super explicit or if it's just nice to have and makes everything run smoother.
Well, and we have a thread on the dev list of like hackathon projects from when I solicited before I went. So if we do have to put those in, I think we can find issues, no problem.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for that report, Andy. That's exciting.
Yeah,
nice
it was a lot of fun.
And yeah, it's nice to see that the learning curve doesn't always have to be that high, and that's some really meaningful stuff that they helped out with. That's helping your productivity every day. That's super cool. So the next item on the agenda says, so I don't think Judith is here today, but she put something on the agenda about lining up a user story blog post from Indeed. Sounds like...
She's on
What's that, Jörg?
She's on vacation.
Yeah. But it sounds like she met somebody from Indeed at the Open Source Leadership Summit. So maybe we can pick up on that next time with her. But that sounds great. So the next item was one that I put on to revive something we had spoken about maybe a month or two back. We had dug up the scripts that we had been using previously to investigate review board, to investigate the current state of review board, just like how many outstanding reviews we have. And one thing that I was thinking, I mean, I don't really want to spend a lot of time like doing that manually on a regular basis. I was wondering what you guys thought about the idea of having some automated system set up that would just spit out some review board stats on a regular basis, so that we kind of just always had a little dashboard that told us what the current state of review board was. Does that seem like, I don't actually know what information besides number of outstanding reviews that code will give us. But I guess I'm wondering if you guys think that would be useful, because that's something that I would be interested in investing some time into. And two, what kind of information might be useful to have in such a dashboard? What do you guys think?
So on the note of just total open reviews, that one is probably not that useful. On the dashboard, you can see on the left, if Mesos is the only project you're on anyway, 372 open reviews, which is kind of a useless metric, right? Like, we're not going to get through almost 400 reviews. That said, something that would make it useful would be active versus inactive, like stuff that has been commented on within, maybe a 2-week period, because that's what we're probably actually working on. And anything older, maybe we should close. I don't know. But yeah, an active versus inactive sort of breakdown is what I think would probably be useful.
Yeah, so there could be some threshold duration. So after a certain period of inactivity, we would mark it inactive, something like that.
Yeah, just spitballing, something like that.
So I was playing with these scripts, I think, right? So these are from Atom?
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
So what I wanted to build into these scripts, which would have been really cool, is to suggest reviewers, right? I mean, that would be it's like super tricky because you need to look. I mean, you don't want to ask Ben for a review because he reviewed that code before because he's super busy. But in principle, all that information is in review board, right? How busy with reviews somebody is, how much context they have. So, but it was kind of hard to do. That's why we didn't really finish that at that point.
How do we determine the appropriate people with content?
You look who committed there, it's a good blame. Then you look who reviewed code that touched that. I mean, if you have a like database of all reviews, you can see who like commented on some code or reviewed some code. And the blame is also useful because it's like some list of authors. Right. I'm not sure how. So it's mostly useful for people who have like zero context. Maybe we don't have so much of people with zero context on the project and maintainers. But it's kind of nice to not only pull in a single maintainer, but being able to pull in more people who have context if they are like maybe like fully booked on reviews already, right?
Yeah. It seems like something that would be cool to have, but might take some significant investment of time to get working also. But if it's something you wanted to spend some time on, it would be cool. I guess it would mostly be useful for reviews that don't already have some assigned shepherd, I guess. Or were you thinking it would just be good to get more eyes on even reviews with an assigned shepherd?
I mean, sometimes reviewers are very busy and you would like to pull in somebody else. And if like ReviewBoard can tell you like, hey, this person actually reviewed 10 patches in this function, it's useful information.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you build like a good database in the backend, you can like perform all kinds of queries. And like ReviewBoard is a very bad database, and we need to come up with a better database, right?
Yeah. So can you? I haven't looked at Artem's code yet. Can you explain just at a high level how it's doing? Like, does it build a database locally?
Yeah, but it's a very specific database, and what it does. So there's some API for ReviewBoard, but it's built for building web front ends. So it's like all paginated and you have to like jump through tons of hoops to get that data out. And it takes a very long time because I think there's some rate limiting built in. So like just dumping all open reviews takes, I don't know, 20 hours or something like that. It takes a long time. And
wow, that's insane.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, ideally, you would want some sane integration with the upstream database instead of like getting that from some web paper.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but I think we might not be able to get that from ASF. And then the other issue was when Artem wrote that they had a very old ReviewBoard version, which had a like even worse API. So maybe one can simplify some stuff now, but it's not really some API that you can query. It's more like, hey, like generate that list of reviewers for this contributor, but the list of reviews, and then it gives you 25 pages hard code, and you have to like get the next 25 pages. That kind of thing. That's a lot of work.
Okay.
And then it's some SQLite database in the backend, but it's kind of tied to, I mean, maybe not. So it like adds entries for reviewers, for reviews, and even for diffs. So you can, like, for every diff, you can see who commented on what line, how that stuff got resolved. And I think the idea was to find out what reviewers give interesting comments, but that was like, I mean, that never happened with the database. But it's in principle, it should be there, that information, if one can do some smart machine learning. But that sounds more like stuff for an intern or for summer student, not for somebody to write down in 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe my plan just for the short term will be to take a look at that code and see if there's something simple that we could set up. Even just having like number of stale reviews might be a meaningful metric that we would like to minimize.
Why?
On the keyboard.
Why would you like to minimize? I mean, why do you think it's a bad thing? I mean, I keep some patches on the review board just to have them somewhere accessible. Right? I'm not sure it's a bad thing always.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, that's a fair point. In the past, we were kind of seeking to discard stale reviews and not have a bunch of stale open ones. I guess the thing that we want to minimize are reviews that people want attention on, but are not getting any attention.
That's a different thing. I agree with that, I think.
And I'm not sure what's the best way to identify those. Yeah, I don't. What's
So
that?
one thing could be to just have like a special comment to put in there, right? So if Benjamin, he wants to keep his review in there, he can put like a specific comment and then we just filter out those reviews. And otherwise look for those who haven't gotten any activity over X amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, so we could have some special string or something that keeps it out. I mean, you can... Yeah, that's a possibility. I guess, is there any reason not to... I mean, that kind of thing seems like something that will just not... It's not going to happen on all... Like, can we expect that that's reliably going to be performed on all such reviews?
I mean, that's like a second wave problem, right? So that's not... And that's after working around the thing. If we want to, like, I mean, if there's an issue that people don't get their reviews seen, then we should, like, at first, like, remove all the stuff that nobody wants seen. And if it's an issue, we can fix that, right? I think that's fair to not build in some special functionality stuff from the get-go. Let's see. Maybe it's just me. So is there an issue with people not seeing their reviews? I mean, that's what I'm kind of curious with, like, Slack now.
What do you mean?
Is there an issue with people not having their reviews seen? Is that a real problem that we still... So I remember there was some discussion, like, maybe 18 months ago, or like 2 years, when people were very unhappy about their reviews. And I haven't seen that discussion now, and I don't know if that means that they just, like, gave up.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if there are or aren't. So the first step is probably to look and see if there are. As far as I know, we haven't really been tracking review board to see if there are any unattended reviews or patches up there. But I mean, an initial inspection can just be done manually even. Okay, well, I think we can move to the next item on the agenda unless anybody else has other comments on review board stats. So, Jorg, you wanted to talk about MesosCon?
Yes. So as Andy already mentioned, the old and new Mesoscon. So first of all, probably many of you have seen that there's like Mesosphere Advance, and Ben and I, we sent hopefully this clarifying email that Mesosphere Advance is not supposed to be the successor of Mesoscon. It's more the successor of DCUS Day, which previously was a co-located event at Mesoscon. We're currently in the process of planning how Mesoscon should look like this year, and most likely it will be more community driven. So as we kind of move all this DCUS, more Mesosphere related stuff to Mesosphere Advance, I hope, or my goal is to have Mesoscon really more community driven, and as such we're trying to also organize it more as a community. So we'll have probably a sync call. I set up a doodle and send it around to a set of people where we guess they would be interested. So we'll probably have a call next week, and we'll keep you posted as soon as we have more information. If you feel that you want to be part of organizing MesosCon, just reach out to me and I'll add you to the conversation. Any questions?
Cool. Yeah, I don't have any questions, but I think it's. I really like the idea of trying to get other Mesos users involved in planning. I think that's good.
Yeah. So sorry that the email took so long. It was actually so both emails. So okay, the one email you saw and like the one email to this core Mesos user group, they had been drafted for at least 2 weeks. It just took a while to review them. Let's just put it this way. I wish I could have sent them around earlier and avoid some confusion going around in the community.
Yeah, no worries. I think it's fine. Yeah, I'll look forward to more updates on that. I'm hopeful that we'll get some interest from the community in organizing it. Hopefully that'll inject some new excitement into the conference. Okay. So, oh, and maybe kind of tangential to that, Jorg, do you know if have there been any, or are you aware of any plans to have another Mesos users like group meeting similar to the one in Uber that happened?
That is exactly the group of people I addressed, and we'll probably hit up on that point when we talk about the MesosCon successor or MesosCon this year.
Okay, cool. So those are all the items that we have for the agenda today. Got some action items for next time. I don't think I have anything else that I wanted to discuss today. Does anybody else have an item they'd like to bring up? Anybody? Anybody? Nope. Okay. Well, I think we can call it then. I appreciate everybody coming today. It's nice seeing y'all. And next meeting will be in a couple weeks. So I'll see you guys online and see you then.
Thanks, Greg. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.